pocket knife in my hand. It was late at night, nobody else was around, and I stared at the shiny blade as if it were my salvation. When Max walked up to me, he didn't interrogate me or demand I hand over the knife. As if he knew what I was about to do, he parked his butt on the bench next to me. We sat in silence for a long time, until he said in that calm, cool voice of his, "What if it gets better, but you never knew 'cause you gave up? What if it doesn't get better?" I asked him as I stared at the blade. He shrugged. "Law of averages says it will, but I'm a guy who knows a thing or two about laws. Why don't I hold on to that blade for a little while, Ryan? It'd be a shame if you accidentally cut yourself waiting for things to get better." He held out his hand, and I gave him the knife. "If you ever need me, don't hesitate to call me any time, or my partner, Lance Matthews. He's rough around the edges, but a good guy." He handed me a card with both of their numbers on it. Even though I knew I'd never call, I stashed that card in my wallet as if it were my lifeline to sanity. Max Trieger saved my life that day. Max was a hero, unlike my stepfather. I look at my mom's husband, wearing his dark blue Loveland sheriff's uniform, with its shiny gold star pin and name tag engraved with the words Paul M. Blackburn, Sheriff. He loves that heavy polyester uniform, but not because of what it stands for. He loves it for the ego trip it gives him. Paul is now greeting mourners at the entrance. Summer break just started, and it's hot as hell here in southern Texas. I wonder if they noticed the droplets of sweat on his face. Probably not. Some look at him as if he'll single-handedly protect the entire town from harm. Truth is, he doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself. He lets guys like Max and Lance do the dirty work, while he hides in his big office at the Loveland police station and takes credit for every drug bust and arrest as if he's the only competent person on the force. He dismisses the federal border patrol agents as irrelevant wannabes, even when some police departments in border towns are notorious for employing crooked cops who are paid by cartels to look the other way. I glance over at my mom sitting in the second pew next to Alan and PJ, Paul's two obnoxious sons from his first marriage. Mom's wearing a little black lacy dress from some designer store in town, and she's got her hands folded neatly in her lap. I know she's drunk, but my mom is a pro at hiding it. Hell, I bet even Paul doesn't realize she downed her daily dose this morning. Or maybe he doesn't give a shit. In his sleazy mind, having a trophy wife by his side just enhances the hero image. Having to deal with her bastard son who doesn't conform to his perfect image pisses the heck out of him. As the flood of mourners starts to dwindle, a bunch of girls from Loveland High appear. They're all wearing similar short, strappy dresses, and they cluster around each other as if they're a herd. I'm not sitting anywhere near Ryan. Their self-appointed leader, Michaela Harris, announces loud enough for me to hear. I flip her off. She glares at me and mumbles, "Jerk," before fingering her fiery red hair and leading the girls to the opposite side of the funeral home. When I first moved to Loveland a year ago from Chicago, Michaela and I hooked up at a party. I warned her that I wasn't looking for a girlfriend because I was in training to move up the ranks as a boxer, but I guess she expected me to change my mind once we started hanging out. When I didn't agree to worship the ground she walked on, Michaela made sure everyone knew I'd been to juvie back in Chicago for assault and grand theft auto. I don't know how she found out, but that didn't matter. Pretty much everyone at school avoided me after that. Paul, who just abandoned his post, is suddenly in my face. He reeks of cheap cologne. "Go sit next to your mother," he orders through clenched teeth. "Why? So we can pretend to be a cohesive, happy family?" Fuck that. No, smartass. He flashes a tight, thin-lipped smile to a couple who just walked into the place, before turning his attention back to me.